Hey, how's it going? Rich from Elk Endeavors here. Hey, today I wanted to talk to you about public speaking and what we've learned about YouTube and also Zoom. And as you know, you've probably if you're on YouTube right now, you've probably participated in at least one Zoom meeting over the last month and a half. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Zoom, public speaking, and we'll go ahead and get started. So before we do that, if you like what I have to say, please drop me a comment, give me a thumbs up, let me know how I'm doing. And if you really are finding value in the channel, please subscribe. And I do videos every Monday and Thursday, so you can look forward to those. And I talk about affiliate marketing and everything that has to do with affiliate marketing. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So the first thing when you think about, actually, I'll leave my glasses on. The first thing you have to think about with public speaking and YouTube and Zoom is that you're not actually public speaking, right? You're sort of public speaking because you're in, you're having to talk to people, but they're all over the place and they're thinking through what you're trying to help them with, or whatever the meeting is that you're in. And you can participate in many different ways with meetings, right? If you might be on a sales call, if you're an affiliate marketer. Yesterday I spent like about 4 hours on Zoom with my family and friends, doing some things with my family, and it's all really good. It's really helpful. But what's interesting is that you have people that don't know how to interact on a camera, right? So a lot of people are looking at the screen because they're trying to see what people's reactions are to what they're saying, and that's totally natural. But if you're trying to work with Zoom or YouTube and you're trying to film, you have to look directly at the camera, right? Because it doesn't help me or it doesn't help you if I'm looking down at my computer screen. I want to be looking at the camera. So that's number one. So actually, I wanted to talk just in terms of having a public speaking sort of engagement. If you think about a YouTube video or a Zoom call as a public speaking engagement, you have to have like several different things. So I'm going to offer you 5 different things that hopefully will be helpful to you as you navigate this new world of COVID-19 and trying to really get across a message when no one's there to interact with you. And you can see that again. You can see that in like the music videos. I know Bruce Springsteen and John Bon Jovi and a bunch of people from New Jersey did a live streaming music performance, and there was no audience, so you don't get that energy from the audience. So it's a really interesting way, but as a YouTuber, like, I'm used to that because I don't ever have an audience interact with me, but on Zoom I do. All right, so the first thing that we will talk about is that you have to have this standard hook story offer, right? You have to be able to go from, why are you watching this video? Like, what has made you get to the point where it's, I don't know, 2 minutes or 3 minutes in, and why are you still here, right? And my hook is that I'm going to be talking about public speaking and Zoom meetings and YouTube videos. And those two, especially public speaking and Zoom meetings, are really important right now because everyone is on Zoom. Everyone seems to be on Zoom or on some other virtual platform because they're having to meet with all kinds of different people throughout their workday. So this is a really important topic right now. So that's my hook. My story could be anything from, like, things are going really well and I'm getting a lot of things done. I'm actually getting more done during the day. And it can, so that's a really important thing. And then I could go with the lighter side of, yesterday I was on a Zoom with my family, and my aunt, one of my aunts, we stared at her like, smoke alarm up on the ceiling the whole time, and her ear, so you could see her ear. And then another, one of my cousins was eating sauerkraut out of a bag. You've seen jokes and stuff on YouTube with people getting up and carrying their computers to the bathroom. Like, those are things that you don't want to do, right? Those are very important things not to do, is carry your computer into the bathroom while you're on a Zoom meeting. But those are, those are my 2 hooks, right? Important things that are happening now. My story are, my stories can be successful things that are happening during a meeting, and then also like funny things that you don't want, you want to avoid. And then my offer is simply the video, like simply my effort to help you navigate this this new world that we're living in. Okay. All right. So second thing that in terms of public speaking is to make sure you look at the camera. Okay, now in public speaking, normally when you're actually in public, usually you're making eye contact with people over here and then people over there, and you don't want to be ignoring anybody. But in Zoom or in the virtual world with YouTube, you want to be making eye contact with one camera, or with one, with the lens of the camera. And I did this like when I first started figuring this out, when I started YouTubing, and I had my phone, my phone, and I actually I got a dot, a sticker, and I put it next to the camera because I kept looking at myself in the camera, and not the actual camera. So I kept looking at myself in the screen, I should say. So I got a dot, and that, like, I did that for like 2 months, and finally just figured out that I didn't need the dot anymore because my son peeled it off, and then I went to replace it and realized I didn't need it because my habit had been built. But with a webcam that I have, this is a helpful webcam because I know exactly what I'm doing in terms of looking at it. Now on my computer, I actually have 2 webcams, and this is sort of something, again, like it's a YouTube, a thing that happens with sorry, I got distracted. My phone rang. That happens with a lot of YouTubers is that, I'm not YouTubers, but like with Zoom meetings, not YouTubers. YouTubers pretty much know like how to interact with an audience online. But if you look at like my computer, my computer is newer, and the webcam, the integrated webcam, is actually down here. It's down below. I'm looking at it here. So the problem is that, number one, everyone's looking up my nose when I'm trying to talk. But the other thing is, if I'm typing, my fingers look like Shrek. I get, it's just crazy. And it looks really funny. But there's people at work that don't, they don't. It's not that they don't realize it. They just don't. I guess maybe they don't care or whatever. But it's just funny that, like, when you see all the different people on Zoom meetings, and they're just, there's less concern about, like, formatting and making something look like a TV show or a movie. And I don't really understand that, but that's something that you as a person, as a professional, can do to help yourself get better and be a good public speaker online. Always have an agenda. So number 3 is always have an agenda. And you can see I'm looking over, I have my pad here, because I want to make sure that I'm using your time wisely. I value your time, and the fact that someone is watching this video. I want you to stay to the end, and having an agenda helps you understand that I'm going to get through what I need to get through as quickly as possible, so you can move on with your life, implement maybe what I've had to say, and then move on with your life, right? Or say, hey, this guy, has a really good video on Zoom and YouTube, and like working with public speaking and cameras. You should watch it, right? And share my video. Hint, hint. So that's really important. Making sure you have an agenda, you stick to it, help people understand that you're not wasting their time, you value their time, and you appreciate every minute someone spends watching these videos. All right, so next thing is make sure you stop and check in with your audience. And again, this is a weird thing, not really on Zoom. I mean, you can do it on Zoom, but in terms of a YouTube and public speaking in a grand scheme of things, online, is you have to check in with your audience. So you start saying, is everyone tracking with me? Everyone understand what I'm talking about, right? You with me so far? The same thing you would do when you're actually speaking publicly in front of a crowd. So you want to ask for feedback. You want to make sure people have an opportunity to ask you questions, and then give you content ideas, right? With YouTube, it's a really good thing because you can't interact with me. I can't look at questions and try to figure out what people are asking me during a YouTube session, but you can, in the comments, you can write some comments and let me know what you would like to see, and I can then make videos, or I can answer you and say, hey, this is a helpful thing, that sort of thing. So that's really important, and that's what I'll do now is say, hey, listen, if you have a comment, if you like what you're seeing, if there's something else that I can expand upon, please let me know in the comments below, and then you kind of move on, right, to the final thing. So the final thing here that I have is always to remember, okay, that you're building your brand. Okay, so whatever I say, whatever I do, how I'm dressed, how how my background. I mean, things have been a little haywire for me. But like, the things that I have, this is like my first, years worth of videos. I was in front of I was outside, and then I had like just a blank white wall, excuse me. And now I have, now I'm in the basement, and the basement's painted and it looks nicer, a little nicer than at least the white wall. But everything I say, everything I do, the way that I act, I'm building my brand. Okay. And what I mean by that is that you are getting to know me as a person through the only way that you can. And that's through YouTube. So but if you look back at all my videos, I talk the same way. I have the same mannerisms, the same facial expressions, the same, screw ups, the same, hand gestures, etc. So I'm building my brand constantly. So I never come on and complain. I never come on and, I don't do those things to begin with, but that's something you have to be really conscious of. And that's where, like, if I was to say, okay, well, I'm not worried about a camera, and I'm just going to use my camera that I have integrated in my computer. Well, I don't really want to watch a guy on YouTube that I have to look up his nose the whole time he's talking, right? Even if the value is incredible, that might be something that really turns someone off and doesn't want to, it might not make it worthwhile, right? So those are the types of things you have to really realize, is that you're constantly building your brand. And that everything you do online, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, whether it's YouTube, you have to be conscious of the fact that you are building a brand. People begin to expect things out of you. People begin to respect you, right? But that's all because you're doing the right thing at the right time and helping people with timely things. And hopefully I've done that here today with the talk about Zoom and YouTube. And I find it interesting that, like, as I was talking, thinking about Zoom, you are able to interact with people, but often you have you're muted. So if I'm a person who's running a Zoom meeting, I will mute everybody because there's just too many people that could be saying things or might have a conversation. The other day, I was called out on a Zoom meeting because the television was on, and I didn't realize it because my wife was watching the television. And so it didn't occur to me that my microphone was on. So someone said, "Hey, whoever's watching TV, turn it off." And I felt bad because everyone thought I was watching TV while I was supposed to be in the meeting, right? So that's something that you have to be aware of. So, public speaking, this is a way of public speaking, and you have to get it right. You have to do it right, and it takes practice. And I think without the audience interaction, without the reaction of the audience, the energy, it can be difficult. And it's something that you have to kind of work through. And I think some people find it harder, some people find it easier, but ultimately that's the world that we're living in. Quite frankly, I'm lucky that I'm comfortable with this way, but like other people aren't. And if you want to build a business, you want to get through it, right? To help you build your brand. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I appreciate your being here. If you're still here, drop me a comment, give me a thumbs up if you like what I had to say. If you didn't like what I have to say, drop me a comment, let me know, and I can certainly fix that or consider it, and then subscribe to the channel if you have found value. So look forward to talking to you again on Thursday. Yeah, have a wonderful, wonderful day.